Welcome to another edition of the CS Podcast, where you can hear interviews with special guests such as
Dale Buchanan, Tom Waddle, Pierre Desir, Brent Berry, Ed Werder,
and many others.
Too big, too strong, too fast, too good.
So be sure to subscribe and tune in to the CS Podcast on YouTube at youtube.com/ChristianRE722.
Did you not get the memo?
That's www.youtube.com/ChristianRE722 for great interviews. Be sure to check out the CS Podcast.
You are ridiculous.
Welcome back to the CS Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Shanafelt, and I'm now joined by 2014 NFL Draft prospect, wide receiver out of UCLA, Darius Bell. Thanks for joining the show, Darius. How's it going?
Going great. Just enjoying my day here. Just got done with workouts. About to cook me something to eat.
It sounds great. So we're going to be talking about your college football career, and I see that before attending UCLA, you actually went to City College of San Francisco, where you played quarterback, and you had a lot of success at both throwing and running the football. How did the opportunity to attend UCLA come up, and why did you ultimately decide to go there?
Well, the opportunity came up, as you know, my brother went to UCLA, played running back there, and his last year was under CRN, or Coach Rick Neuheisel. So, I always wanted to go to UCLA and, kind of follow my brother's footsteps. And the opportunity arose when Coach Neuheisel and Norm Chow decided that they wanted to go to the pistol offense. And, I just felt that it was a match made in heaven for me. It was an offense that I was accustomed to and that I've ran before. And, I felt I could run. And at the end of the day as well, UCLA had a great education. So for those two combined things, it was really a simple choice for me.
In 2010, you played quarterback for the Bruins against Washington, and then you redshirted in 2011, and then the 2012 season comes around, and you're playing wide receiver. How did the change from playing quarterback to playing wide receiver occur, and what was your reaction like when you found out that you'd be playing wide receiver?
Coach Tuiasosopo was there with me, and he had told me, that Jim Moore and the staff was coming in, and that, they like prototypical quarterbacks. They like the 6'3" to 6'5" guys. They had just got done, Coach Mazzone had just got done coaching Brock Osweiler at Arizona State, and he's 6'8". And he told me, he said, we want you on the team. We want you, to be around because we like you, and we just don't think, you could help the team at quarterback, considering what they want and what they like at their position. And his first choice was running back. He asked me if I'd like to play running back. And at the time, we had Jonathan Franklin, so I wasn't too sold on playing running back. So, I actually wanted to play, and I felt I could help the team at receiver. Coach Mazzone had told us we needed receivers in the offense that we played at, and we only had 6 at the time. So, to me, it was kind of a no-brainer. I felt I was smart enough to play in the slot, considering, I think slot receivers, 80% mental and 20% physical, and finding zones in the defense and just your knowledge of the game. So for me, it was just, it was a no-brainer to switch to receiver and, try to help the team because that's what I came to UCLA to do.
During that junior year of yours against Colorado, you caught a 17-yard touchdown pass from Brett Hundley. Can you tell us about that very first touchdown of yours as a Bruin?
Oh, man. It was a corner route. It was one-on-one with the safety, and Brett put the ball, perfectly in the corner of the end zone, and, I just went out and made a play, and it was more of a relief than anything. I would say excitement at the same time, but, I scored a touchdown, and I kind of just looked at the crowd and my teammates and shook my head like it was about time. I felt like I was supposed to have been in the end zone multiple times before that game. It didn't work out that way, but for me, it was more so of a relief than a celebration. So I was just relieved to, finally say I scored a touchdown in Division I and, make part of my dreams become reality.
This past season was your senior year, Darius, and I'm curious, what were your personal expectations for this past season, and would you say that you have met those standards?
Personal expectations was just to do as good as I can. I don't ever set a standard on statistics because, statistics don't tell the story of a football player or, of any player in any sport. So, personal goals for me was all team goals. And, sadly we didn't make it to a Rose Bowl like we wanted to. We fell one game short behind Arizona State and Stanford, and so, I couldn't say that we met our personal goals or that I met our personal goals, but I just wanted success for the team, and I wanted to help. And, like I said, I came to UCLA to do that. I told Coach Neuheisel whatever he wanted me to play, I would to help the team. So, just to give a helping hand in any way, to some wins for our team was huge for me.
UCLA has a pretty good quarterback, Brett Hundley. Now, Darius, you have some experience at playing quarterback. Now, I know you guys are two totally different quarterbacks, but what is it about Hundley's game that makes him successful? What do you think?
Oh, man. He's got everything he wants. You can see over the line of scrimmage fairly easy. He's got a very strong arm. He takes the time off the field, which is the big difference in, good and great quarterbacks. He takes all the time off the field, in the film room and, breaking down film with his receivers. The kid's just, his talent is through the roof. So he can run the ball, he can throw the ball. There's not much you could do. I told Coach a long time ago, the thing about that makes those quarterback so special is that you're playing 12 on 11. Because now this guy has the ability to do two different things, so it adds that other dimension to the field. And Brett does those things, but not only does he do them, he excels at them. And I think that's what makes Brett Hundley so special.
Chris Shanafelt talking with 2014 NFL Draft Prospect, wide receiver out of UCLA, Darius Bell. And just a few questions, and then I'll let you go, Darius. I really do appreciate your time. Now, I know that nothing is guaranteed, but when did you find out that the NFL can not only be a dream, but it could become a reality?
Shortly after I switched to receiver is when I felt like, it was my dreams or, like you said, were starting to come to reality. Coach Moore told me that he wanted me to transfer to Portland State if I wanted to play quarterback. I told him, just give me an opportunity to play receiver and help this team, and if you don't like what you see, then, you can send me on my way, because I know how, it's a business at the end of the day. And after spring ball, Coach Moore called me in his office, and he was like, man, I just can't believe how far or how fast you progress, and, how much you're actually going to be able to help this team out at receiver. He's like, I see you, having a long future in the NFL, and the slide, kind of reminded me of a guy like Hines Ward and something like that, and, catching multiple balls for, a long time in the NFL. And it's one thing to hear that from a coach who's, playing for, coached high school and college, but to hear it from a guy who's been in the NFL, coaching defensive backs for, 20-some odd years, who's coached in the NFL and, has a pedigree in defense, to hear that from a defensive-minded guy, it kind of boosted my morale and my confidence and let me know that if I just keep working, my dreams could become reality.
Absolutely. That's definitely great to hear. I gotta think that boosted your confidence up a whole lot. Darius, you're actually the younger brother of current NFL running back and former UCLA Bruin, Khalil Bell, who I actually spoke with a while back when he was on the Bears. Has he given you any advice on what to expect at the next level?
The only advice he usually gives me is hard work, prevails over anything. Talent, everyone's talented. That's why they're in the National Football League. But it's the guys that, they go the extra distance in the weight room, that, that put the extra film work in. And, ultimately it's the guys that just work the hardest. I had a similar conversation with J.J. Watt. I said, well, what's the number one thing that, number one information that you can give me? And he said the same thing. And it's pretty universal around the NFL, but it probably couldn't be more true. Hard work separates, great athletes from guys that, aren't athletically gifted. It separates, the Michael Jordans from, the guys that, never quite made it. So for me, that's probably the one thing that Khalil and, multiple guys that I've talked to that he knows in the NFL try to stress to me is that hard work prevails over talent.
Let's say there's an NFL general manager out there listening to this very interview. Why should he want Darius Bell, wide receiver out of UCLA, on his team?
Because I'm a Renaissance fan. I think I could do it all. I could help on special teams. I could play in that slot receiver. You could bring me into different packages because I'm also, I'm a big guy and I could block. It's just multiple things I could do. Nowadays, I think football is all about how much you can do and how much you bring to the table as a player and not being one-dimensional. And I think I do so many things on the football field. I could do things that, that usually it would take three different guys to do. So, if anything, I'd like to say I'm a Renaissance man and I bring multiple talents to the table.
Well, we're exactly 2 weeks away, 14 days from the 2014 NFL Draft, Darius. How excited are you, man? I got to think this is all like a dream come true.
Oh, I'm very excited. I'm just trying to keep my head down and grind through these last 2 weeks of, training here. But, like you said, it's a dream come true. I waited my whole life, for that day. And when it comes, I'll be with, my family and friends, the ones I love most. And I'll let the dice just fall where they may.
Well, hey, man, I'm wishing you nothing but the best. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on you and whatever team you're going to be going to. You Bells are pretty talented, man. You Bells are pretty talented. Thank you very much for your time, man. Keep in touch.
Thank you very much. We'll talk soon.